Hey everybody, welcome back to Hart Talks. Lovely to have you back here with me today for the 1 year anniversary Q&A show on Hart Talks. Thank you to everybody who has checked out to make sure if I'm okay. I have been in hospital. I was pretty rough for quite a few days, but I'm home and things are okay. They're better than they were anyway. So I'm going old school. I've got my cards and my questions on there. So it's a bit like Mastermind. No, it's not actually. It's nothing like Mastermind.
Hart Talks.
In a year of doing Hart Talks, what have I learned about myself? I think what I've learned about myself is that my creative brain is still there and is still able to be activated. I think when you're out of acting or performing or whatever it might be for a time, you kind of start to feel, oh, I can't do it anymore and it's not for me. But doing this has really made my little brain start working very, very hard. It's quite painful sometimes.
Hart Talks.
Was the World AIDS Day Hart Talks video a hard one to do? It was quite hard. Well, it was a really hard one to do. It was one that I thought about for a long time, and it was actually one that I always knew that I was going to do. From the day I started Hart Talks, I knew that I had to use my voice, especially for things like that. The responses I got were amazing, and even to this day I think it was amazing the way people were about that video.
Hart Talks.
What's the best venue I've ever seen a show in? That's easy. It is Radio City Music Hall in New York City, baby. I saw the Rockettes show there and it was just unbelievable. Absolutely amazing. Loved it. If I was talking about a place in London, it would be the Savoy Theatre because it's smaller, it's very grand, it's beautiful. Yeah, I would be quite happy doing a show there. If I could go back in time and change just one thing, what would it be? I suppose I try my hardest not to have regrets. But if I had to go back and change one thing, if I could go back and change one thing, it would be, I didn't see my aunt for a lot of years before she died. Our families were torn apart and because of secrets and lies and things like that. And I didn't see her and I didn't know she was sick and I didn't get the chance to say goodbye to her. So that would be the thing that I would change. I would just, it would be lovely to be able to say that, she was a very special person to me and that, having her in my life, even though it was very, very short time, changed my life altogether.
Hart Talks.
How do I find subjects and themes for Hart Talks? And that's easy. It's you. Yeah, your comments, your suggestions, I really look carefully at the comments and I always try to answer, and I look on Twitter and I look on Instagram and all the other social networks that Hart Talks is advertising on, and just look at what people are saying and try and work out what you would like to know more of. And I hope I get it right, but that's where I come up with things, and also things that are going on in my life. One of the aims of Hart Talks was to be able to create a show where you could see me living my life with all the things that are going on with me, definitely medically, but also just to be able to see that, there is life after a diagnosis, or there is life after the childhood that I had, or there is life after whatever it might be. You just got to keep carrying on.
Hart Talks.
What are my thoughts on Donald Trump? Well, first of all, he needs to get off Twitter. He needs to stop bashing people on Twitter, and he needs to start running the country properly. He needs to get rid of these walls that he keeps going on about. Walls are not going to fix anything, he needs to bring down walls rather than be putting up walls. And he needs to learn about people. He needs to learn about these minorities that he is saying are different or are terrorists, or because they have a different religion or a different skin colour, or, you know, or a different way of life, that it's wrong. Who's he to say it's wrong, you know? So that's my that's my edited version on what I think of Donald Trump. If it was the unedited version, there'd be quite a few bleeps coming up.
Hart Talks.
Who were my influences at school? That's easy. I had a music teacher called Mrs. McClellan, and I had a classical studies teacher called Mr. Fulton, and Mrs. McClellan was my music teacher, and she was a naughty teacher. That's why I liked her, because she used to smoke in the cupboard that she had in. This shows you how many years ago it was. She used to smoke in the cupboard in the classroom, but then she would come over in front of this big grand piano and she would knock out these tunes, either musical theatre or pop or jazz or whatever it might be. Just throw these tunes out there and you would just be like that, whoa. And then her and Mr. Fulton were in charge of the school productions, the school shows, and they really pushed me to a place to discover that acting was something that I wanted to do with my life.
Hart Talks.
Why haven't I spoken more about male rape on Hart Talks? Well, that's a big one, because it's a big subject, and I haven't spoken more about it because I haven't been asked, to be honest, and I wasn't sure if you guys would want me to do a show on that. I'm very willing to do it. Please put in the comment section below if you want to know more about my story, about what happened to me, and about male rape, and just, yeah, I'm willing to talk about it, but I need to know from you guys that if you want me to do a show on that.
Hart Talks.
Favourite musical and why? That's easy. Rent. Rent has always been my favourite musical for as long back as I can remember. And, you know, I think about it and I think, is it because of the subject matter of Rent? But the thing was, Rent was my favourite musical before things had happened. A lot of things had happened to me. And really, Rent is about, relationships, it's about fun, it's about creative people, it's about survival, it's about learning to live with different people, and around it all it's about friendship, and that's why it's definitely my favourite musical.
Hart Talks.
What would be my dream role to play if the opportunity came along? Well, I always said it would be Mark out of Rent. You know, he's the kind of narrator, he kind of telling his story, and I always loved that role. But you know what I realised that I always loved about Rent was Angel. Now, Angel was a transvestite, and Angel was a transvestite, and she was just this powerhouse of love and passion and acceptance and understanding. And she would do high kicks and she would wear high heels, and it was a role that's so far away from anything I could ever imagine myself playing that I think that would be a dream role for me if I ever got the opportunity.
Hart Talks.
What's my favourite food? And what can be more favourite than pizza? Pizza is the best. I love pizza. Pizza in New York is good. So thank you for all your questions. Thank you for coming back to Hart Talks. Thank you for being with me for the last year. You are my Hart Talks family. I love you so much. I'm so happy to have done what I've done in the last year, and I just expect big things for the coming year. Remember to hit that subscribe button. Remember to like the thumbs up button, hit that button. Please leave comments, because as I said, comments are what inspires me to do more and produce new shows and, you know, do all that kind of thing. So your comments are vital. They're so important. Remember to hit that grey bell, which is next to the subscribe button. That grey bell means that you get an email as soon as my video comes out. So that's it. 1 year. 1 year. So from me, from Gracie, from Gus, thank you for being an inspiration for me, because that's what you've been. You've inspired me to carry on and do this. I'm so happy, and thank you.
Say bye bye. Bye bye.